Hello and welcome to Fans of Africa, where we celebrate sports by giving fans a voice. My name is Christian Koramba, and in today's episode, I'm joined by the Under21 ladies hockey coach Tendayi Maredza. And by the end of this episode, we hope to recruit more hockey fans as we get to know what's literally happening in the world of hockey. Tendayi, welcome to the show.
Thank you very much.
Okay, so the first question that I have for you is, I want to know, where did you go to, primary school, secondary school, and how you actually end up being in hockey?
Okay, so I went to Chile Primary School in Highfields, and that's when I started sport. Actually, I started with cricket, so I used to play cricket at Chile, and then we played cricket from grade 4 to 7. And then I actually got a cricket scholarship to go to Churchill. Yeah.
And when was that when you got the scholarship?
So I went to Churchill in 2003. That's when I did my Form 1. So that's where I got the scholarship. And I was playing cricket, and I only started playing hockey when I was in Form 1, because in second term you had to choose a sport rather than cricket. So I picked hockey over rugby.
Okay, so I also wanted to ask, apart from hockey, I know you now do cricket. You were doing cricket and maybe a bit of rugby, and with the way you are, I'm not judging you, I'm just saying, rugby. Did you ever had a chance to play rugby though?
Well, I did, because at church we were forced to play rugby. Obviously, every Form 1 has to play rugby. But then I got this tackle when I was playing fly off, and I was like, no ways, I'm going to hockey. It's more synced to cricket, and it helped me with my wrist work and all that.
Wow. So now, how did you end up being a coach for the hockey? Like, tell me the journey, you being a hockey player and then getting a sport to be the coach, by the way. How did you manage to end up there?
So what happened was, when I finished school at Churchill, obviously there wasn't a coach at Churchill, so I took it upon myself to help the youngsters that were there. So as soon as I finished school, I started coaching at Churchill just part-time. But then I found the passion of hockey, and then I loved coaching, and then I just progressed from there, started coaching other schools until people identified me and said, you know what, come and assist the ladies team. So I actually started with the club team, which is called Hippo Ladies, and then from there I got recognized, and then they started putting me into the system to be able to coach the Zimbabwean ladies teams.
So when was that when you started coaching the Zim ladies?
So I started coaching the Zim ladies teams in 2016. That's what was my first assignment with the Zimbabwe Under-18 team, and we went to Pretoria to play against Namibia and South Africa. So that was my first stint, and started off at a bad, but eventually we managed to come third.
And how bad was it?
We played the first game against obviously the South African team, and we lost 10-1. And I know everyone was saying, we made a mistake. This person is too young to be coaching and all that. But we pulled it together. We lost the other game, and then we eventually beat Namibia, and we came third in the tournament.
Wow.
Yeah.
So in your coaching career, you actually mentioned something to do with age. We can't be coached with this youngster and stuff like that. Have you ever faced other problems, being a young coach that maybe I'm going to be from?
Not really. Obviously, people would talk about, you need to be coaching with more experience, because you need to be coaching like when you're like over 30 and 40. But what I just did was, when I was young and I, started analyzing and watching a lot of hockey games. So it took me 3 years of watching a lot of hockey games to make sure that I've got the experience and the knowledge. So when I started coaching, it wasn't a problem in terms of my age. Obviously, some people thought I was young and I couldn't coach. But when the time came and, I had to do the job, I did the job.
Wow, perfect. So apart from you being the hockey coach, now, do you have any other things that you do apart from being a sport person or being a family person, or any other things that you do?
Well, sport is my love, eh? Obviously, most of my business and everything is in sport. So I'm a part-time coach at St. John's College. I run my own hockey academy, which is called Reds Hockey Academy. So it's more hockey, sport. I don't have major businesses outside of sport, but I just love sport, and I'm just looking forward to developing sport and doing everything in sport. Yeah.
Perfect. Now let's talk of memories. I actually mentioned something like you losing 10-1. And do you have any best memories that you can recall in as much as your coaching career is concerned? But of course, we had the worst one. I would want to also know the best memories.
Well, there's so many best memories, but I think the most important one is, when we played in the Olympic qualifiers and qualifying for the Junior Olympics. That's a big for us, because just qualifying for those particular tournaments is just a whole different ball game. So I would say the best two memories of qualifying for that Olympics and also qualifying for the Junior World Cup.
Well, so just give us a glimpse of those memories. Like, how did you perform there? Not talking of 10 of course.
So I'll start with the Junior Olympics. So I started coaching those under 17 girls, and we went to Algeria. Obviously, it was hot. Conditions were bad. But yeah, we just needed to adjust, and only the top 3 teams in Africa were supposed to qualify for the Junior Olympics. So we went there, we actually played against South Africa. We played against Ghana in the first game, and we lost 3-1, and everyone just thought, this team is not going to qualify. But we pulled ourselves together, we played South Africa in the second game, and funny enough, we drew with them 3-3, and it was a big result for us because South Africa is like a powerhouse in hockey. So that obviously gave us confidence, and then we played Namibia and the other teams, and then when it mattered, we played the semi-final against South Africa again, but that time around they beat us 2-0, and then we had to play the decide against Ghana. So we had to win that game, and eventually we won it. So that was a big moment for us, a tough game against Ghana because they also are powerhouse in hockey, but we managed to pull through. And then obviously going to the actual Olympics was just an eye-opener for us, and you're now playing against the best in the world. But we did well. We played against the defending champions, which was China, and we ended up losing, I think, 6-0, which was a good score. We ended up beating Mexico, and then we lost against Uruguay, and we came 10th or 12th in that tournament. I can't remember. But it was good because when we go for these tournaments, people are just expecting us to come last, and we didn't come last.
Wow, perfect. So, I actually have this question for all the coaches that I know. Are you supposed to have a favorite player in your team? And if there's one, who is your best player of all time? I would want to know that. Yeah.
So I'm not going to expose that now because I'm still coaching, but I'll tell you the honest truth.
Yes.
I think every coach has got their go-to player, favorite players you can have, because at the end of the day, even like when you look at soccer, who's not gonna, if you're a coach and you've got Cristiano or Messi on your team,
yes,
that's your go-to player. So each coach, will have their favorites, the person that they go to, but you're just not supposed to disclose that.
Why?
You can only do that. You can only do that when you're retired. You're no longer coaching.
Okay, no, let me not put it like who do you think is your best? Just pick some of the five.
5 of the players. So which team are we talking about? Talking about the under 21?
The under 21, yes, of course.
The team that we just. We've had some strong players. Obviously, the players that have gone to the Junior Olympics and that have played in the national team. So we had the 2 Blanche sisters who play up front. Those are like good players. We've got Tino Dionashe Elijah. She's a young player, only 17 years. She played for the national ladies team, and she was also part of that under 21s team. We had Simone Herbst. She's got lots of experience, and she was playing in the midfield. And then we had our captain Mutsa Bera, who was also a good player. But apart from that, all the players did their job, and they're also good players. So that's why I'm not going to tell you my favorite, but I'll tell you the ones that had the experience and that actually played well in that tournament.
Okay, well, so I would want to know which criteria do you usually use when you are picking your first team to play for any other tournament?
Yeah, so basically when you pick the team, you have selectors. So each province has to provide a selector, and then the head coach is also part of the selection process. So you have to watch their games, you have to watch their tournaments, you have to watch them train, and then from there you trim the team, and then you're picking who's the player with the qualities that you need as a coach, who's the player who's got the quality that you need as a team, who's the player that's going to fit into the system, and then from there you pick. When you now pick the first 11, that's a decision that we make as a management, and also we bring in the captains. So we sit down with the captains as a management and we discuss, okay, we're playing against this team, these are their strengths, these are the weaknesses, who do you think should be starting?
Wow.
Yeah.
I think so much, Tendayi. So hold on to that thought. Join us after the break as we continue this discussion and also exploring what the Under 21 did to the World Cup. Stay tuned. This is Fans of Africa. Welcome back to Fans of Africa, and I'm still joined by Tendayi Maredza, who is the coach to the Under 21. Now we're going to be talking about the experience to the World Cup at the same time. But before I do that, I have this question for you, coach. In your honest opinion, which group of people are easy to work with or to handle as a coach? Ladies or guys?
I think it's just fair. It just depends how you coach as a coach. But I think a sports person shouldn't be easy to coach if you know what you're doing.
Wow, okay, fine. That was a diplomatic answer, I know. Now let's talk about the experience at the World Cup. As a coach, how did you feel when you qualified for the World Cup? Take us through the experience and how you feel about all day.
Okay, so obviously with COVID-19, we didn't actually play that qualification tournament. It was cancelled because of the pandemic. But we qualified by the virtue of us being ranked second, because we also went to the 2016 Junior World Cup. So when we were told we qualified, we were excited. Obviously, we wanted to play that tournament because we had a good side, and we believed that we were going to come top two in that tournament. We were actually planning on taking the game to South Africa and actually winning the tournament. Yeah.
Wow. So I believe it was for the African countries, it was only South Africa and Zim. How did you feel about that? You being picked, only two of you from the southern region of Africa.
Oh, exciting, because Africa is a big tournament, big continent. So we're excited being amongst the two teams in Africa to actually go and compete at the World Cup and play amongst the best.
Wow. Now, talking of the best, now you were in a group which had Netherlands, USA, and Canada. Yeah. So tell me, how did you feel being ranked amongst the best in the world and the experience as well?
It was a great feeling. Obviously, Netherlands, the mighty Netherlands, like people called them, top team. Last time they came second in the 2016 World Cup. But yeah, we always knew they were going to come hard and they were going to win this tournament. They were the favorites. Canada were the Pan American champions, good side also. And then there was USA also came third in the Pan American, and they also ranked, in the top 15 in the world. So yeah, goosebumps. Yeah, we knew it was going to be a tough tournament. We knew it was going to be a tough group. But you know what, we said we're going to go there with the underdogs. Let's go and play.
So what is it that you actually are picked from the the best group that you are in, like from the matches in Netherlands, USA, and Canada? What is it that you picked that you can say, no, if we take this and improvise on our team, it can work?
Well, are you asking going forward?
Yes.
Well, obviously, if you talk of the technology one, the development of the teams too, the preparation, we're still way behind in terms of that. But you know what, Zimbabweans, we've got the heart, and I think we prepared well for this particular tournament. Yes, it was not enough, but it was good enough for us to go there and actually compete, and that's why we got that first win against Canada.
Wow. So talking of this World Cup, just give me your best highlights of the tournament.
Oh, the best highlight was winning against Canada. So first game, we're playing against Canada, Pan American champions. Obviously, from the warm-up, you could see that, they were a team that believed they were going to win. Obviously, they had all the resources. They just come from a good tournament, winning the Pan American Championships. There we are, Zimbabwe, the underdogs, but then we ended up beating them. So it was a good feeling. Everyone was excited. I think the whole world was excited because underdogs beating a team that's ranked at the top, that's a great achievement. So that game was just one of those games that was just brilliant as a coach, and you're just proud of your goals, you're just proud of being Zimbabwean. Just winning that game, yeah.
Well, of course, there will be the worst one. Which was the worst? This one is USA.
The worst one was always going to be Netherlands.
Okay.
But you know what? We started off well. I think we had a plan. We knew they were going to come hard. We had a plan. We played the first quarter. They only scored one goal. But obviously, there was the rain that affected and the lightning. And then when we came back, it's like we just... hit a lion we just slapped a lion. That's literally. And they came hard on us. The scoreline wasn't good, but the experience was good. Rubbing your shoulders against the best in the world, being able to hold them in that first quarter was brilliant for us, and we'll take that as a plus, and then we can move forward. But yeah, in terms of them being a powerhouse, we always knew it was going to be a tough game. So that was probably our worst game in the tournament.
And so talking of doing great exploits on international scene, Zim ladies won the Olympics gold medal in 1980. Do you honestly feel like we have a chance of there might be a possibility of the ladies doing the same again?
Yeah, there is a big chance. Obviously, we just need to go back to the drawing board, work on our development structures, make sure we've got a competitive league. I still think the talent is there. We just need now to make sure we can contain the talent within Zimbabwe and work towards that. I think, draw up a plan. At the moment, we've got a good side, and we're aiming to, obviously next year we've got the Olympic qualifiers. But I feel if we can keep this team up until the 2028 Olympics, I think we've got a chance.
Wow. So now let's talk about the greatest of all time. Who do you think or who do you have is your greatest of all time when it comes to local hockey, or maybe regional, or maybe Indonesia?
Well, local hockey, we've got some legends that have played hockey before. We still got players right now that are also competing for that. We used to have players who played in Eradicator's team, players that used to play in the old national ladies team or the national men's team. People like Alec Isulu, people like Trish Davis. All those players were good players in their time, and I think they're still, a motivator to some of these young players. We've got young players coming up, like I said, the young Tinodi Onashe Elijah. She's someone to look forward to. But when you go to the international stage, we've got people like Jamie Dwyer, I think one of the best players ever in the world. And then you've got Amar from Argentina. She was just brilliant, and she's just an icon. I went to Argentina during the Olympics, and you see all the girls just look up to her. So in terms of all the grades, like the Messis and the Ronaldos, we also have all Messis and Ronaldos in hockey, and those are the two, Jamie Dwyer and Amar.
Well, so earlier on you also talked about the issue of technology, comparing yourself and other teams that were participating. What is it that you say, I think this is one of the greatest lessons that we took from the World Cup, and that you feel like, no, if we do it this way, I think we'll do great?
Okay, so before I talk about the technology, I just want to shock you with something.
Yeah.
So we went there, and then we saw the German team. Okay, they also were a top team. They made the final. So in terms of the technical officials, so we went with 5 technical officials. There was the head coach, the assistant, the physio, the manageress, and then the videographer. Germany had 11 technical officials. And within those 11, they had 3 assistant coaches, and then they had a video analyst and a videographer. So the video analyst is just basically analyzing the other team's games and then feeds the information to the assistant coaches. When you talk of technology, these guys have got state-of-the-art cameras, state-of-the-art technology coding the game. As they're playing, they already can pick up all your weaknesses, and they're referring that information to the coach that's on the bench. So that's just because, you know what, when I watched that and I saw that, I was like, wow, technology is really something that we need to invest in, because the game has changed. Everyone is now depending on that technology, and it goes a long way, because just by looking by your eyes and analyzing a game is just not enough nowadays.
Well, just for interest sake, how big was your team, or how small was it when you actually went there? You told me that the other guys had 11 people operating, one thing, stuff like that. How like, apart from you being the coach?
So I had the assistant coach, one assistant coach, and then we had a physio, and then we had a manageress, and then a videographer. Apart from the 20 players that we took, every team could take 20 players because of COVID. You could have 18 players playing, and then the other 2 would sit in the terrace, and then you just rotate them per game.
Okay,
yeah.
Thanks so much, Tendayi. We continue with this discussion as we wrap it up right after the break. Stay tuned. Welcome back to Fans of Africa. Now we want to know, what role do we have to play, we as fans? At the end of the day, how are we supposed to, react when these matches are played? So tell me, as fans, how do you, we as fans, when we will be actually giving you that kind of confusion, hey, coach, I'm scoring up, coach, I'm scoring up. How does that make you feel as a coach? Do you react immediately, or you just, ignore it out?
Well, you always have to act professional. Obviously, the fans are there to help you also, but they're always going to give you negative comments. Sometimes, actually, you take those negative comments and you can use them in other games. Actually, some negative comments actually help us, but some negative comments you just need to brush aside. That shouldn't affect your game. That shouldn't affect you as a coach. So you just need to act professional. No need to be lashing at the fans, because the fans, you need the fans for your team to perform well.
Yeah. So do you have ever came across this issue whereby maybe the fans kind of did more than you thought? You're going to make about some form with the fans, or it has always been like, no, I'm doing this thing?
Nah, I've always been focused. I've always been professional. Yes, fans can say what they have to say, but like I said, actually I get some of the tips from some of the negative comments from the fans, because sometimes they can see something that I can't see, but that's never really affected my game or my coaching.
Well, so talking of the positive things as well, when the fans are cheering you up, cheering the coach, cheering the players, yeah, team ready to. So how does that make you feel?
That makes us feel great. Not just me as the coach, but also players, because you always need that. I'll tell you from experience, when you go and play in Argentina, you always know it's going to be a tough game. Why? Because Argentina, the field will be, the fans will be there, they'll be cheering and all that. Same thing in India. I'm sure you've watched IPO cricket, you've watched the HIL hockey, and once the fans are just there and they're cheering the team just plays well. So the fans actually, the cheering helps us, and we just love it.
Okay, so now let's talk about the match being played. Let's say that there's been a downfall in the pitch, a player's not doing so well. How do you normally handle it? Is it always like when you see someone going, and then ipap, or you just give them the benefit of the doubt and then later on you can address things?
Yeah, sometimes you just give the benefit of the doubt. It just depends how the game is going and if you've got people that can rotate. Obviously in hockey we've got the luxury of rotating someone. They can come and bench and then go back in. So once a player is not playing well, maybe it's being affected by fans and all that, it's just a matter of taking them out, having a chat with them, telling them what you need to do, stay focused with the plan and all that, and then you can put them back on. Sometimes you can give them the benefit of the doubt, but it all depends where the game is going and which kind of players you need on the pitch and what they need to be doing on the pitch.
Wow. So we as fans, we have this tendency, I don't know, correct me if I'm wrong, if things are not going well, the girls, they're like woo, 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 woo. Even as a coach, people start throwing cans, bottles and stuff like that. As a coach, we're supposed to be professional, as you have said. How do you handle that situation?
Yeah, so it's always going to happen. Obviously, the fans, they want you to perform. Everyone wants to win. But it's now how you portray and the culture that you have as a team. The team has to understand that as soon as you step on the pitch, you're either going to win or you're either going to lose or you're either going to draw. So even if the fans react in a negative way, you know what you did, you know how you tried to do your best on the pitch, and then it's just a matter of keeping it professional. So it all comes down to the culture of the team. Does the team understand that the fans are going to do that if they don't get the win? Because fans are always going to want to win. But at the end of the day, you go onto the pitch, there's two teams. One team needs to win, you need to win. But at the end of the day, there's going to be a loser or it's going to be a draw. Yeah.
So now, based on the overall performance of the World Cup, taking everything, you mentioned the issue of technology. I know your argument was so much based on technology. We're getting there, we're trying together, But apart from the technology issue, the performance of your girls, where do you think you're going to start from there as you learn some things, at the tournament?
Well, the performance was great. To be honest, we've always gone to the Junior World Cups. We've never had a win over the previous Junior World Cups. So this was our first win, and all the time we've always finished last. So this was actually good that we actually finished 12th and we didn't finish last, which was good. But the performance was great. I think we're going in the right direction. Now it's just a matter of, can we keep these girls? Can we go back to the drawing board? Can we do certain things that are going to help us to keep competing at the highest level? Because that's the most important thing. We can compete locally, we can maybe go and compete regionally, but now you need to go into international stage and actually win some games. You need to go into international stage and know that you can compete against them and still beat them, even without the resources that they have, but you just need to try. So I think the performance was great. I'm proud of the girls. I'm proud of the team that was working behind the scenes, the management team that I was working with. And you know what? It's a plus for us, and we've put Zimbabwe hockey on the map.
So, Tendayi, there is this whole thing when the players or when the teams are going to play outside, people always kind of complain. We can take into consideration the issues when people are going out there. There's always, those issues. Do you ever face any of those, as a team, Zimbabwe getting to the World Cup?
No, not really. Obviously, for hockey, we don't have the luxury of getting supported financially most of the time by the government or other, but we do get support from the parents. We do get support from some of the corporates. So we've never faced such an issue. We've always been well prepared. We've always had the funds to go there, although it's a hard time trying to raise those funds. But we've tried our best, and the parents have really been supportive. The association and some of the corporates have really been supportive in every tournament that we've gone.
So the World Cup is done. We want to know, as the coach, where do you start? Like, the World Cup was done, you actually call the 12th position and stuff like that. After that, you'll be like, no, now we're done. So where do we start from here? Where do you think you're going to be starting as a coach?
Okay, so obviously in terms of progression with this team, obviously they're now going to progress into the national setup, and then there's the Olympic qualifiers that are going to be next year. But now what we're looking to do actually is to go grassroots developments, which is one of the major things that we're going to try and do. Obviously through my academy, I've already started a grassroots development program. We've started hockey in Murewa, we've helped in Bari. So we're looking to do that, because without the pool of players and without those grassroots development programs, it's always going to be a problem. We need a competitive league, which is very important also, because when you talk to these teams, they're always asking you like, oh, we've got a Euro League, we've got this, we play this type of games within a month, and then you were like, wow, we only play maybe 3 games a month, and it's not even that competitive. So if you were going to meet that standard and compete at international level, we definitely need to look at our grassroots development. We definitely need to look at having a competitive league. We definitely need to look at our preparation, getting to play other international teams more rather than just meeting them once after every 4 years.
Oh, wow, nice. So lastly but not least, looking into that camera, I would want you to make a plea to the fans. A lot of people want to get into hockey. A lot of fans want to join the team. A lot of fans want to support you. What is it exactly that you're going to say to them?
Well, firstly, I want to thank all the fans. I want to thank all the corporates, the sponsors, the parents, everyone who supported us. And I'll just say to you, if you want to play hockey, come and join. We are there to coach you and you enjoy it. Hockey is a fun sport, and we just, if you want to come and play. Maybe you'll be the next one to play in the next Junior World Cup or the next World Cup or the next Olympics. And it's just a great experience. So if you want to come play, and we thank you very much to all the supporters and all the fans that are out there.
Thanks so much, Tendayi, for actually joining me on this particular interview, and I hope to see you again next time.
Thank you, and thank you for having me.
And thanks so much for watching Fans of Africa, where we celebrate sports by giving fans a voice. My name is Christian Koramba. Till we meet again next time, be kind to one another. I'm out.